A 100-unit condo building in the Nashville area. A seller had a signed contract, a buyer with a pre-approval letter, everything lined up to close. Then the buyer's lender pulled the HOA file for a routine review. Standard stuff happens every day. Except this time, the file showed the building's roof reserve was short by over $1 million. The loan died on the spot. Not because the roof failed, not because anyone got hurt, because a number on a spreadsheet didn't add up to what a lender needed to see. That sale is gone. And that seller is now sitting in a building where fewer lenders will even touch a loan, because the same review just flagged the whole property, not just their unit. This is happening because of a rule change that took effect this month, and it's about to run straight into a gap in Tennessee law that almost nobody's talking about. Here's why. Florida forces its condo buildings to get structural inspections on a set schedule. California does too. Tennessee doesn't. Tennessee only requires a reserve study, a financial plan, with no requirement that anyone actually inspect the building structure. And that gap is about to run straight into Fannie Mae's new rules. Let me walk you through what actually happened, what the numbers say, and what it means if you own, rent, or want to buy a condo in this state.
On March 18, 2026, Fannie Mae issued something called Lender Letter LL 2026-03. Freddie Mac put out a matching bulletin the same day. Together, these are the biggest changes to condo lending rules since the Champlain Towers South collapse in Surfside, Florida back in 2021, when 98 people died because a building nobody had properly inspected came down. Since that collapse, Fannie Mae has kept what people in the industry call a blacklist. Officially, it's the ineligible projects list. If your condo building lands on it, buyers in your building can't get a normal 30-year mortgage backed by Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. They'd need cash or a more expensive private loan. As of March 2025, a law firm called Alcock Marcus obtained data showing 5,175 condo and co-op buildings nationwide were on that list, up from just a few hundred before Surfside. Florida alone had 1,438 of them. California was second with 733. Fannie Mae won't confirm this list exists publicly. When a Freedom of Information Act request went to the Federal Housing Finance Agency back in 2023 asking for it, the answer was basically no such list. But lenders use a tool called Condo Project Manager every single day, and if your building comes back with a status of unavailable in that system, your loan is dead. As of last August, Fannie Mae itself said 3.6% of all the projects it reviews carry that ineligible status, and growing. So what actually gets a building flagged? Two things more than anything else: not enough insurance and unresolved repair problems, including buildings that don't meet state or local inspection requirements. That last part is the whole story for Tennessee. After Surfside, Florida passed laws requiring buildings 3 stories or taller to get milestone structural inspections on a strict 10-year cycle, with real penalties if boards skip it, California passed a similar law, SB 326, requiring inspections of balconies and elevated walkways. Tennessee's response was smaller. On April 23, 2023, Governor Bill Lee signed Senate Bill 863 and House Bill 750. Starting January 1, 2024, condo boards responsible for common areas worth more than $10,000 to replace have to get a reserve study done and updated every 5 years. That's the law now, written into Tennessee Code Section 6627403. A reserve study is a financial plan. It looks at the roof, the elevators, the parking structure, and estimates how much money the building needs to save up to replace those things down the road. What it is not is a structural inspection. Nobody is required to physically inspect the building and confirm it's safe. Tennessee has no version of Florida's milestone inspection law and no version of California's SB 326. For older HOAs that aren't condominiums, the state doesn't even require the reserve study. So picture a Tennessee condo board that's followed the law perfectly. They got their reserve study, they updated it on time. On paper, they're compliant. But when a lender's full review asks, does this building meet state or local inspection requirements? there's no state requirement to point to. There's a financial plan, some board meeting minutes, and whatever the board chose to do on its own. That's a much thinner file than a Florida or California building can produce, and thinner files are exactly what gets flagged in a full review.
Starting with loans dated January 4th, 2027, Fannie Mae requires condo boards to put at least 15% of their yearly assessment income into reserves, up from 10%. If a board can't hit that number, there's one way around it, using a current reserve study that recommends an even higher funding level and following it. But the study has to be less than 3 years old, and it has to use the highest recommended funding option, not the lower baseline option many boards have used for years to keep monthly fees down. Here's what that means for a real building. Say a 100-unit building has a roof that needs replacing for $1.2 million, and the board hasn't set aside any reserve money for it specifically. That's $12,000 a unit in unfunded repairs, over Fannie Mae's $10,000 per unit threshold for critical unfunded deferred maintenance. The building doesn't become ineligible when the roof actually fails. It becomes ineligible the moment a lender's underwriter finds that gap on paper. That can happen during any regular home sale in the building, not just a special event. A survey from the Community Associations Institute in 2025 found 42% of board members and managers didn't know whether their own building was eligible for this kind of financing. Among the buildings that were confirmed ineligible, 64% said it directly hurt home sales or property values. Some industry attorneys estimate a blacklisted or unwarrantable building can lose 5 to 30% of its market value compared to a similar building that's still eligible. That's the effect on real people. If you own a unit in a flagged building, your buyer pool shrinks overnight to cash buyers and people willing to take out expensive alternative loans. If you're trying to sell, your closing can fall apart in the final weeks when the buyer's lender pulls the HOA's financials and finds a problem nobody told you about. If you're a renter in one of these buildings, your landlord's costs go up when refinancing gets harder, and that usually shows up in your rent eventually. And if you're a board member, you're the one who has to explain to 100 angry neighbors why the building suddenly can't sell units at a normal price. Tennessee's statewide median home price sits around $395,000 this year, down a bit from last year. Nashville is running hotter. Median sale prices there are somewhere between $480,000 and $549,000, depending on which data source you check. And condos specifically are the more affordable option in that city, averaging somewhere around $350,000 to $375,000. Mortgage rates right now are sitting in the 6.2 to 6.75% range for a 30-year fixed loan. Condos have been the entry point for first-time buyers and investors in Nashville, Knoxville, and Chattanooga for years, precisely because they're cheaper than a single-family house. That's exactly the segment that gets hurt first if financing gets harder to find, because these are often buyers who need a conventional loan and don't have the cash to work around a blacklisted building. There's already a real example of how this plays out. A mid-rise condo building in the Nashville area, built in 2014, took roof and structural damage during the March 2020 Nashville tornado. When it came time to renew the building's insurance, the insurer didn't just want the storm damage fixed, they wanted proof of adequate reserve funding and a documented repair plan before they'd renew coverage at all. That's the same kind of documentation Fannie Mae is now asking every board in the country to produce, and it's exactly the kind of documentation a state with no inspection law makes harder to have ready. As of today, August 18th, 2026, the full review requirement has already kicked in nationwide. The 15% reserve rule doesn't hit until January 4th, 2027, which gives Tennessee boards a little over 4 months to get their reserve study current, switch off baseline funding, and get their budget numbers where they need to be. Most boards only approve their budget once a year, which means the very next board meeting on the calendar might be the one that decides whether a building passes or fails this test. Tennessee never wrote its own version of the Surfside Law. What it has is a financial planning requirement with no matching safety inspection requirement, and a federal lending system that's now asking the inspection question directly. If a wave of full reviews starts flagging Tennessee buildings the same way they've already flagged thousands of buildings in Florida and California, the boards that didn't see it coming are going to be the ones fielding angry phone calls from owners whose sales just fell through. And this isn't only a Tennessee story. Plenty of other states copied the same partial fix, a reserve study law with no matching inspection law attached, assuming Surfside was a Florida problem. It wasn't. It was a maintenance and disclosure problem, and Fannie Mae's new underwriting is now checking for it everywhere, state by state. If you own a condo, sit on a board, or you're planning to buy one in the next year, the reserve study is the one document worth asking for right now. How old it is and whether it's using baseline or full funding. That single piece of paper is what's going to decide whether your building can still get a normal loan by next January. Subscribe if you want more of these breakdowns. The fine print under the housing headlines explain the way it actually affects your wallet.